Hello, I'm your host, Skeptical Scott. It's funny you say that, and we have a special show today. While it's recorded here down on Earth, we are looking up in the sky, because right now we have someone who takes incredible photos of planets, stars, galaxies, nebula, comets, and more. Just in time for holiday shopping, please welcome to the show, Kyle Brewer! Hey, how you doing, Kyle?
Hey, I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here and even more excited to talk about space.
Oh, excellent. Hey, where are you joining us from today?
I'm from Indiana, here in the U.S.
All right, good. Hey, another Midwesterner. I'm just to the north of you in Michigan. And
hey, state neighbors.
That's right. I was actually just in Indiana about a week ago. We have family near Kokomo, the cornfields. That's what I remember right now. So, hey, how are you arriving today, would you say?
I am doing really well. And you are right. This is the land of cornfields, beans, and not a lot else.
Well, it is funny because, I mean, it's cool. When I think of an Indiana sunrise or a sunset, you can see the horizon. You know, it's flat. But then the corn lifts that horizon a little bit as the season goes.
Indeed, it does, yes.
Hey, you know what I've always wanted to sing, especially right now? It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Because, hey, those of us of a certain age know that song. It's Billy Joel, Piano Man. And we happen to be recording 9 o'clock on a Saturday. How about that?
Sometimes things just work out that way. And, I may be young. I'm 30 years old. But most of my musical taste comes from a time before me.
Oh, cool. I'm right there with you. Pretty eclectic here as far as music goes. But hey, today we're going to be talking about another favorite, and that's just a favorite activity for you. And 9 a.m. on a Saturday might be early for some people, but I have a feeling there are plenty of times where it's sort of midday for you.
Yeah. My work schedule, being an astrophotographer, starts around an hour past sundown, which is astronomical dark. And I go all night until I see the first inkling of light coming over the horizon.
Man.
So at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, I will be having lunch within 2 hours.
Actually, I do have a quick question now that I think about Indiana.
Sure.
I was down in Muncie during the Great Eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you?
So I was just 15 miles-ish south of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I had a little party going where I had my scope set up and capturing the eclipse. I actually have a few pictures of the partial.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And I was able to witness for my first time the totality of a solar eclipse. And, well, we'll get into more about how that made me feel, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, let's just say there's a difference between 99% and 100, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. That 1% of light coming from the sun is immense.
We are going to get into the actual pictures. You know that my audience, a lot of them will relate to you. Can you briefly tell us your relationship to religion, let's say the first 18 years of your life?
I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian home.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say fundamentalist, I mean the whole bag. I thought the earth was around 6,000 to 10,000 years old. I did not believe dinosaurs were real. And I believed that my soul was destined for hell unless I were to repent.
Yeah.
So within just that, you can tell I was probably a lot like some of your audience who have deconstructed. I've been through the fundamentalist brainwashing, the indoctrination, of course, and it took a long time to break out. I can remember back being 9 years old and to instill the idea of hell. My grandmother decided it would be a good idea to put my hand on a hot stove.
Oh my God.
To teach me what it would be like if I don't accept Christ.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Or here's the hell. I'm sorry. I can't believe that. I mean, I should say I can believe that, but I hate that happened.
Definitely wasn't a good memory, but it also taught me that the people who are teaching this stuff to their children are also a victim.
Great point.
So I don't have any resentment towards the people who brought me up. It's more along the lines of, I'd say, I feel sorry for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That they weren't able to detach from the chains of their religious belief, so to say.
Like you said, it takes a while if you've had all that programming. I have found not a lot of people have it happen in one time that, oh, now I see. So what was that process like for you, taking off those handcuffs?
Yeah, it was very slow. I guess my very first memory of questioning would probably come from the fact that my uncle was a space nerd. He loved space.
Yeah. What a great bridge here.
Right. My uncle gave me some books about the universe. He often took me outside on dark nights when the stars were very, very clear and would point out which ones were which to me. And that got me thinking, after I did some investigating on my own, reading some books, these stars, these things in the sky, what are they really? And that question, that simple question, led me to my first understandings of science.
Yeah, we should be asking more questions instead of just accepting what's handed down all the time, right? I love the idea that your uncle, and who knows what but I don't know his spiritual beliefs, but how great that all he did was, create curiosity, and that was enough.
Exactly. And sometimes it just takes one person to plant the seed and show you that it's okay if you don't know the answer to something, because you can find out. And that was a big turning point for me. Was I would ask my parents, my grandparents questions that would just come up in my head. And when they didn't have an answer for it, I started to realize, maybe they don't have all the answers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe these people are learning just like I am.
Yeah, I love that outlook.
It took me from taking it on authority to investigating myself, which is what everyone should do if they want to really understand if what they believe is true.
From authority to curiosity. And
yes.
And now to Cosmic Kyle.
The fun fact, well, not so fun. I'm visually impaired. So my vision, I don't know currently what the rating is for it. I know that without my glasses, I cannot drive.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So visual astronomy, typical telescopes where you would look through an eyepiece, that was out of the question for me. For the longest time, I thought, well, I guess I'll be forced to just look at the stars from here and see what I can see with my own eyes. But within the last 2 years, a special development has come out for astronomers. The addition of smart scopes.
I've never heard of this. Yeah, tell me more.
So a smart scope is an automated all-in-one astronomical tool. The one I have is called the C-Star S50 by ZWO Astronomy. It is about 5 pounds, no more than 2 foot tall, completely automated. All you do is connect it to your phone, enter the coordinates of whichever astronomical object you'd like to view, and it will calculate where it needs to go, swing the arm up to it, and start doing long exposure photography.
I always just picture people moving their arm and hand and all of that. And what a great embrace of technology, not just to make it more available, but also smart. There's the smart, right?
Exactly. And the best part is that the images will appear on your phone screen. What happens is it takes 10 to 30 second exposures over the course of many hours and does this process called live stacking, which takes the images and puts them, overlaying them on each other, reducing the noise in the image and bringing out the detail.
I see. Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
From there, you just post-process in an app like Photoshop or Lightroom, the curve adjustments, that kind of thing, and the beauty of the picture will emerge.
Man, my mother, her birthday's coming up, and I got her the California one.
The California Nebula.
Can you explain what that looks like?
Yeah, so the California Nebula is an immense hydrogen region in space that takes on the shape of the state of California, roughly. It is several light years in length. And for context, for anyone listening, a light year is not a measurement of time, but of distance. It is the distance that light can travel in 1 year, which is roughly 5.5 trillion miles.
I can't even picture that. I don't think anybody can.
No. I professionally stare at the sky and it escapes my imagination.
So the other one that she hasn't seen the California one, that's going to be a surprise, but one that she commented on was the Orion one that you have. And I think a lot of us are familiar with Orion and Orion's belt. How do you bring the beauty out in something that we see all the time? Actually,
yeah, Orion is one of the ones that is mostly visible to the naked eye, depending where you are. It'll appear as a slight blobbish looking purple star right below the belt. Mm-hmm. It's probably every astrophotographer's first target. It was definitely mine. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest one to shoot for sure. The way I do it is right now with the time of year that we're in, we're approaching fall/winter astronomy season. Orion appears very low in the horizon right now, about 4 in the morning. So I only have from 4 to 6:30 roughly to capture photons on this target. So right now my Orion images are okay. There's a lot of atmosphere you have to shoot through, so the distortion of the image is obvious. So once we get closer to the winter, I will be able to capture it in its full beauty and detail.
Yeah, you've learned a lot in just a couple of years working with your equipment.
It's definitely a hyperfixation.
Listeners, I encourage you to go to our show notes because you're going to see some links to Kyle's work there. And in fact, time of year right now, these really do make some great gifts. And so can you explain that service that you can potentially provide our listeners?
Well, sure. So I sell all of my astrophotography. Anything I have posted publicly is up for grabs. I'm going to have to go through them and annotate which ones are mosaic images and which ones aren't, because that detail is very important to the cost. So a non-mosaic is just the standard field of view for my telescope. I don't have to increase it or decrease it, meaning there's a standard fixed view for all targets in the sky, whether it's a big nebula or a small nebula, far out in space or close. I can only view it from one fixed perspective. What that means is that if I were to increase it to a mosaic image, you're increasing the field of view to about double the original view. So that takes double the time to acquire an image. So that's really just the difference between mosaic versus non-mosaic.
Well, it makes me think of when you say the layering of the photos over time, right? You're not just paying for a snapshot.
No, yeah. It's much more along the lines of several hours of shooting, mm-hmm. and then several hours of processing to the final image. So from first light to final product, depending on the nebula, but we'll go with an average of about 5 to 7 hours.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So for an 8x10 photo print with a frame, any of my astrophotography that is a 8x10 is $20. A canvas of 11x14 of a non-mosaic will come to approximately $60 after shipping. And a mosaic, which is the large scale 11x14 full view of any nebula or star field, is $100 after shipping.
And that's the one where you feel like you can go swimming in it.
Oh, for sure. The field of depth in a mosaic image is far greater. You can get more stars in the image, which gives a sense of scale to the nebula.
Hey, define nebula.
So a nebula is a region in space comprised of ionized hydrogen, sulfur, any sort of gaseous elements that are being excited by nearby stars. So the hydrogen glows visibly by the solar radiation and winds put off by the nearby stars and star fields. And these nebula are what we're taking pictures of. It's simply just an enormous glowing pile of cosmic dust and gas spanning trillions and trillions of miles.
There you go, man. That phrase you just said just totally captured me for sure. And, you said Orion's belt is one of the first things you look at. The moon is, I'm sure, another one that you almost immediately look at. In fact, a lot of us will get our binoculars for that one, or our own telescopes for that. What do you love? Mm-hmm. What do you love about focusing in on the moon?
The moon has always really been a fascination for me because I started out with binoculars. And the first time I used my grandpa's pair of binoculars to look at the moon, I could see the valleys and the mountains and craters.
Yeah.
And just how it was once so active and, dare I even say, alive with volcanic material and bombardment from comets and asteroids. Just, it's a living history of...
More than 6,000 years even.
Much more than 6,000 years, yes.
Yeah, when you see all of that up there, you're just like, look at all the impacts. How long did it take to get those impacts cratered in there,
And if, I just now thought about this, and I don't know if anyone else has. If the Earth and the Moon system, everything is 6,000, 10,000 years old, but we have more than 10,000 craters on the Moon.
Great point.
Wouldn't we have noticed the impacts and maybe written about that in our archaeological evidence that we have?
I love that. That's good. And
I don't know. I never thought about that.
And I love too that just the shadows, the difference. Like I'm amazed at how accurate, number one, that we can predict what the moon's going to look like on what hour, what day. We can go back into history and say this is what the moon looked like on that day. This is what it's going to look like, thousands of years from now. All of that is incredible to me. Let's highlight for our listeners just a few more favorites of yours, favorite images that you've captured in the last couple of years.
Well, Orion is definitely up there in my top 5. And a quick fact about it, Orion produces so much hydrogen, so many hydrogen molecules that in the span of 1 hour, it produces enough hydrogen to fill Earth's oceans 300 times.
Man.
And if that gives you a little bit of context to the scale of Orion, it's an immense nebula. My personal favorite, and a favorite that many have told me is theirs, and probably my top seller, actually, is the Horsehead Nebula.
That's the first one I ordered, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's definitely my top seller for a reason. The Horsehead is a striking hydrogen region of red hydrogen that is being excited by the star Alnitak, which, when you look at my image of the Horsehead, you'll see off to the left a separate nebula called the Flame Nebula. And right above it is a super bright star called Alnitak, which is part of Orion's belt. A fun fact about it is that star gives me so much issue capturing the Horsehead because of how bright it is.
Yeah.
It drowns out the image, and I often have to go several nights capturing the same target and then stacking all several nights in my computer to form a final image that would and still only as good as a basic image on any other nebula because of how bright that star is.
Well, and I can see why you need some good software and hardware, I suppose, when you're saving all of these images, especially if you want the scale of it, right?
For sure. And what's funny is I don't use any of the paid astrophotography programs. I use only free software. The main one is called Cyril. It's the prime time astrophotography software for beginners because it's free. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a program I am saving up for eventually. It's $300 for the lifetime pass. It's called PixInsight. That is what the astrophotographer from NASA would use.
What do you think the separator is between those two?
PixInsight being a software that you download onto a computer. It has scripts that you can input to automate your workflow when it comes to processing astrophotography images. The problem with that is it takes a lot of memory, a lot of bandwidth, a lot of RAM. So anyone who wants to get into this line of work or hobby, just know that your average computer, even if you think it's decent, will not keep up. You're going to need to invest.
It's not just the $300 lifetime subscription thing here. It's the hardware to use it.
Yeah, it's the hardware, the software, the startup money, because typical astrophotography setups, they can go anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000.
Wow. Yeah.
While the scope I'm using, the smart scope, is around $500.
Got it. All right. Well, let's talk about a couple more of your favorite images. So we've heard Horsehead. What's next?
A wonderful wintertime object coming up that I'm actually already gathering images on is the mighty Rosette Nebula. This is a cosmic rose in space. It is one of the most striking nebula formations that is available to us in this northern hemisphere. The Rosette Nebula, the first thing you'll notice about it is, yes, it looks like a giant rose with a hole in the center forming the buds out on the outer rim. That giant hole that you're seeing in the center is caused by the solar winds pushing the nebula outward at intense speeds, hundreds of thousands of miles per hour.
You said solar winds a couple of times now, right? So can you define that for the everyday person?
Absolutely. The solar winds are electromagnetic radiation and plasma generated from our sun and other stars, which, by the way, our sun is a star. Sometimes people get that confused a bit, but our sun is a main sequence G-type star. It's very ordinary. There's many like it throughout the universe. And just like all of them, they generate a force that pushes nebula, space dust outward from the star.
Hey, shot in the dark here, pun intended. There's a music group called They Might Be Giants. Have you heard of them before?
I swear that rings a bell, but I can't say I can put my finger on it.
Well, when I hang up here, I'll send it to you. But my son grew up on They Might Be Giants, and so did I, actually. And they've got some space songs. So that hearing you describe solar winds just now made me think of it. So I'll send that to you. It's phenomenal. Wonderful. It's phenomenal music. It's weird music. It's catchy. It's great.
I'm a huge music nerd. So, and if it has to do with space, I'm on it. So I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's hear one or two more favorites that you think our listeners may want to grab.
I think my top number one favorite nebula, just because I've imaged it so many times, is the Great Cygnus Wall region of NGC 7000, the North American Nebula. This region is iconic. You have definitely seen it in a science book, encyclopedia, or online somewhere. This nebula formation is probably the most defined structurally of any of the nebula I image. What that means is you can see every little shadow and every little fluff of gas in this nebula, which causes it to look almost like a painting. Like an oil painting.
I think I've seen it. I think you have that out on your Facebook, I think.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a very long stretch of nebula around, I don't want to paraphrase here. Let me look it up exactly. NGC 7000.
Hey, any automakers that are listening right now, you need to come up with a car called the NGC 7000. Just saying.
NGC 7000, the North American Nebula, has a physical length of approximately 120 light years across.
And again, so multiply that by the trillions that you said earlier.
120 times 5.4 trillion miles.
I think you're going to run out of calculator space on that one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even know the name for that number. My goodness. Just thinking about this, even though I do it professionally, blows my mind every single time I think about it.
You know, I think there's nothing like looking into space to make you feel small. I think that's what scares some people, is that it threatens them a little bit to realize that how tiny we are, and it can make some people feel so alone. And then you can turn it inward too, from a microscopic level and tinier.
Real quick, to piggyback off what you just said,
right?
There's an interesting fact in our universe. If you look at what we know to be the smallest possible particulates of matter, which are quarks,
right,
which are the inner workings of subatomic particles. And then you go to the other end of that spectrum, to the universe itself, the observable universe. What would be right in the middle of that scale?
No idea.
Human beings.
Interesting. Okay.
We are about the intermediate between universal scale and quantum scale.
Wow.
So as far as we can zoom out into the universe, that's about how far we can zoom in.
While somebody might feel, gosh, this makes me feel alone, what I hear you say there is that it's like, wow, we're so interconnected.
I mean, we are. I mean, if you think about from a physical perspective, our atoms are touching the atoms of the air, which are touching the other atoms of the air. Everything is connected in a non-spiritual, just strictly physical perspective.
Who needs magical thinking? This is already magical enough, man. It's amazing.
Was it Arthur C. Clarke that said any advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? Or was that somebody else?
I don't know, but it makes sense. There's another one, an image that I just recently purchased. It's the Comet. Ooh. Tell us about that one, because I thought that was very, very cool looking.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So last year, for anyone listening who caught this themselves, in October, there was a comet that was visible to the northern hemisphere, to the naked eye, in fact.
Right.
It was Comet 2 Atlas, and based on its arc around the sun, it is estimated that this comet will not return for another 80,000 years. So the picture I have of it is the only picture that I will ever get of it. And I am insanely proud of it. It stands out as a green, almost like a spotlight in space, where you can see the tail glowing for millions of miles. And in front of the comet, if you look very carefully, you can see the anti-tail, which again, the solar winds of our sun are pushing on the comet, melting and evaporating the ice, causing a long tail off the front of the comet and the back of the comet, which is not often seen. So this picture is definitely unique as far as comets go.
I love the timeline that you just put in place there, that we won't ever see it again. It truly is unique. And the green glow too, it really is a beautiful, beautiful picture.
I often look at that picture and I think to myself, Green Lantern.
Right. Perfect. Hey, speaking of movies, do you have any space movies that are your favorites? And then do you have any that just really get under your skin?
I don't know if I've thought about that second part.
So my brother, he works for the National Weather Service. So he graduated from,
Wait.
Yeah.
Before you go on, are you about to say something about The Day After Tomorrow?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I was just curious because that came up yesterday. The hurricane spun the wrong way in that movie.
That's perfect. That's an example of what would miff my brother. He So he's known since age 5 that he was going to be weatherman, right? I remember when we watched Independence Day for the first time, and the ships are coming in, and he was already complaining. He was like, "That would totally throw off the tides and all." He just anyway.
Absolutely would.
That's what made me think of that question.
That would be a good contender. Independence Day. While I love the movie, those ships were so large.
Right.
And even if it didn't affect gravitationally the tides, we would have seen those coming from so far away.
Right. Not just bursting through the clouds, right?
Yeah. In the movie, they say, well, there's something that's just moved past the moon. It's coming towards us. Like, okay, we would have seen it far, far, far beyond the moon.
That's great.
That was just lazy writing.
All right. Well, how about a favorite, though? Couple favorites.
My favorite space film by far is Matt Damon's The Martian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have that one purchased. In fact, I love the serendipity of these types of things because I was planning on watching that today.
That's wonderful. What do you love about that movie?
I love the scientific accuracy.
Exactly. Yeah.
There were a few parts near the end where Matt Damon's character pops a hole in his suit and uses the thrust from the atmosphere to get to the other ship. And I'm like, okay, aside from that, it's very scientifically accurate. Like we don't know yet if we could farm in the Martian soil, a little bit of an undefined area. But besides that, The Martian hits home for me in both scientific accuracy and a hard-hitting story that is encapsulating. Mm-hmm. So if anyone hasn't seen The Martian, I mean, it's been out for a while, but if you haven't seen it, that is top space movie.
What'd you think of Interstellar?
You're going to hate me. I haven't seen it.
Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of liberties on that one too, but you do get lost in that one. I
have seen the ending scene.
Yeah.
I've seen where he enters the black hole and gets stuck in the fourth dimension.
Right.
That's actually fine because we don't know the inner workings of a black hole. Now, one of my favorite things about space are the mysteries behind what happens once you pass the event horizon of a black hole. Many scientists speculate that it may, in fact, be a wormhole, like an Einstein-Rosen bridge to another point in space-time.
Right.
Now, that would be great, but because of how the physics works, you yourself as a conscious being could not travel through that because you would be atomized. Mm-hmm. If we're to ever understand what truly happens beyond the event horizon of a black hole, we're going to need to see a black hole die.
What does that mean that you need to see it die?
So a black hole, it actually evaporates in a sense. What happens is there's this phenomenon known as Hawking radiation, which was theorized and subsequently discovered by Stephen Hawking. And what happens is particle and antiparticle pairs of virtual particles, which might have to explain that, but virtual particles will appear and disappear at the edge of the event horizon. One particle will fall in while one particle is ejected. And that apparent ejection of energy is what Hawking radiation is. It's a slow, slow disintegration of the black hole over googles of years.
Did you just say googles of years?
Yes, a 1 followed by 100 zeros.
Now you know where Google comes from. Okay, got it.
Big number, yes.
Google that.
The person who founded Google, I believe it was his son that named it.
Well, Kyle, I know we've interacted a lot through Messenger and whatnot. We follow each other a bit. To actually hear your voice and hear the passion just on the fly, I'm throwing these terms at you and I can just hear your excitement for them. And so can our listeners. So as we wrap things up here, is there anything else you want our listeners to know?
I've actually thought about this. While looking out into space for some may evoke feelings of existential dread, I want you to know that you are not simply put into this universe, but you rose from it. You are a part of it. The carbon, the nitrogen, the calcium, the iron, all the parts that make us who we are literally came from the universe, from the stars, the first generation stars that cooked those heavy elements together and exploded. And through its enriched guts throughout the cosmos, forming new stars and solar systems, and eventually the curious onlooker looking up at the cosmos that created them.
Hell yeah.
Don't be afraid of anything.
We are all space guts, y'all. This is great. Man, it makes me think to Star Wars. Between episode 3 and 4, Rogue One. Thank you. Stardust was the name of the dude's daughter.
Oh, that's right.
Like nickname, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So I like Star Guts too, though. I like that too. So I'm gonna stick with Star Guts. I kind of like that.
We are Star Guts. It just sounds a little bit more metal.
Yeah, that's right. It's hardcore, man. Hey, this has been a hardcore conversation. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Funny you say that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute pleasure.
Check the show notes, y'all. You'll see what I mean.
Telescope wild, chasing stars in the black abyss. He snaps, no miss marks. Galaxies posing, nebulae frozen. Shutter clicks quick, whole universe chosen. Hustling comets, he catches their glow. Milky Way dances, he's stealing the show. His lens a portal, infinite frame. Cosmic Kyle, space immortal, never tame. Zoom, flash, capture the fire. Cosmic Kyle, the cosmic flyer. Through the void where the starlight piles, bringing space to Earth with style.
Thanks for listening to Funny You Say That. Find all of our episodes and social media channels at skepticalscott.com. Got some feedback or a question? Email me at heyskepticalscott@gmail.com. Drop the supernatural, embrace the rational, believe in as many true things as possible. See you every first and third Friday. Cheers.
Martian dust storms, he's snapping the red. Venus through the haze, light years ahead. Rocket boots clicking, bouncing on moons. Gravity's a joke, he's immune to its tune. He sees what we can't, he freezes the vast. Kyle clicks eternity, future and past. Zoom, flash, capture the fire. Cosmic Kyle, the cosmic flyer. Through the